And Ambridge Italian Villa, among others. Now to the Beaver County Radio Studios we go for Coach's Corner.
And a pleasant good evening, everybody. It's playoff time here in Beaver County and Western Allegheny County. And we have one of the coaches from Western Allegheny County with us, Dan Bradley, in his 6th year at Our Lady of the Sacred Heart. He brought one of his players here. We're going to talk a little bit of basketball, too, because Dan was the former coach at Avonworth, and B.J. Vaughn was a big contributor on their undefeated state basketball championship team. But he's also here for football because he's a pretty good offensive and defensive player for the Olst Chargers. And we also have one of our CCBC players of the game here with us, Tim Henderson of the Cornell Raiders. He got the award in the Rochester game a few weeks ago. We're going to be talking to them maybe about the midway point of the show. For Curtis Walsh and Malik Garrett, who's running the show tonight, I'm Bob Barrickman, and Dan Bradley joins me. Coach, it was a little bit of a question mark at first. You had a couple bumps along the road, but you got the big win last Friday, and you're headed to the postseason again. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. We did have some bumps along the way, but fortunately for us, we were able to get over those bumps and stay focused and get in.
Well, yeah, I know you've battled with Tim Henderson, who we're going to hear from a little bit later. Now, you did win the battle of 15108, the Coriopolis zip code, but you won that battle. That helped get you into the playoffs. But for the whole season, Cornell has won the battle to this point because they won the conference championship. So, but you're one of the teams that everybody starts 0-0. And how big was that for the confidence of your team after you kind of spun your wheels? Rochester had pretty much had their own way against you a few weeks ago, and you lost the teams that I would have thought you would have maybe defeated in Shenango and
Northgate.
Northgate, yes, excuse me, thank you. But you came back, you beat the conference champion. How big is that game for the psyche of your team going into the playoffs?
Well, I think it's always good to put some wins together before you go into the playoffs. Fortunately for us, we were able to come back from those losses, but in beating a good team like Cornell, I think it says a lot about our team and our potential. But we've got to rise up to our potential and play like we can.
What were the keys to victory this past Friday night? Who really stepped up their game, so to speak?
I think our front seven on defense really did a good job in closing up holes, not giving up any big plays, and really harassing Sincere, their quarterback, and getting good pressure on him and force him in out of his rhythm and taking away some reads that he had. But I think the credit goes to our offensive and defensive lines, and I thought our linebackers played very well.
Let's talk about some of the names of your play. In fact, B.J. Vaughn, you mentioned linebacker. Tell us a little bit about some of the key guys, like quarterback and receiver. I know your son Tyler was an outstanding quarterback. You don't have his services anymore. No. He's playing college football. But tell us a little bit about the makeup of your team, Coach.
Well, it always starts up front. And, we always say that you beat bad teams with athletes, you beat good teams with an offensive and defensive front. And for us, our defensive line started up front, and our nose guard was Dion McIntosh, scholarship player in the PSAC, 6'4", 295 pounds. And then we have another senior on one defensive end, Gavin Tonery, 6'5", 275. And a freshman on the weak side, and Isaiah Scholes. He's going to be a terrific player down the road. He's about 6'1", 210. So they do a great job up front with keeping guys off of our linebackers. And our middle linebacker is B.J. Vaughn. We moved him there from defensive end last year. He's a natural playmaker, has good athleticism and good size, and he's really come a long way in reading keys and becoming a smart football player.
Where do you think you're farther ahead going into the playoffs? Which side of the football?
I think defensively we've made big strides, and I don't want to leave out our two stack backers who are twins, Brandon and Brady Brazil. I think our defense, and we played Fort Cherry at home, and one of the writers pointed out to us that we started 5 sophomores and 2 freshmen that day. So to come along and bring those young guys along like that is hats off to them. Offensively, we sustained 2 injuries last week to Cornell, an offensive lineman, Ryan Farrell, our left guard, and Stephen Greer, our leading rusher. So we've had to make some moves and try to balance that out, and hopefully our defense can rise up to the task, and our offense can make some plays when we have to.
Last week, I saw Tim Henderson, plenty of Tim Henderson, and Rochester probably saw enough of him to last quite a while. But he had a fantastic game, and that's why he's going to be joining us. Was he a guy that you were looking to contain?
Absolutely.
Stop him, forget it about stopping, but contain him, because anytime he gets his hands on the football, he could go the distance.
He's a big play guy. And I thought with Henderson and Troutman, if we limited the big plays or took them out, which we did. We didn't give up big plays in a kicking game, and we were able to bottle those guys up most of the night. And anytime you make a team drive and snap it again, and perhaps force a penalty or something because your jumping counts, it leads to the defense's benefit. And I thought, like I said, our front 7 guys did a great job.
All the games on Friday night throughout the WPIL will be at 7 o'clock, and we'll have 2 games on Beaver County Radio on WBVP and the new 99.3 presented by St. Barnabas. We'll have Jim Eccles will join me from Geneva College as Western Beaver takes on Beaver Falls again in the first round. We had that game last year. We'll have the repeat this year, 6:30 to pregame from Geneva. Now on WNBA, Ambridge at Freeport, and that'll be Mike Azadian and Jason Colangelo from Freeport. Coach, the last time Ambridge went to the playoffs, and I remember broadcasting the game, it was at Joe Montana Stadium,
yes,
Ringgold High School, and you were the head coach of the Bridgers. And after that, the program really struggled for the next 5 years. But Sherman McBride, an Aliquippa guy, has come in and kind of rejuvenated life in the program. You have to be happy that your old school is part of the postseason.
Absolutely. Still in contact with some of the guys I coached there, whether they graduated that year or down the road, and really happy for Sherman and the Bridgers. The town itself reminds me of home in Washington, and so many similarities, but we wish the best for the Bridgers.
Both games, airtime at 6:30 on Beaver County Radio, WBVP, and on WMBA, Ambridge at Freeport. Coach Dan Bradley of Our Lady of the Sacred Heart. Well, Dan, the decision for you to move on to Olsh, no regrets. I mean, you've had a powerhouse. You've been to Heinz Field. It's been a pretty good 6 years.
It has been for a bunch of reasons, but outside of winning, we have a group of guys for those 6 years who are really driven athletically, academically, and really push themselves to become the best. Like Brad, who's a football player, a basketball player, wants to go to college and do great things. Has some schools reach out to him, and just like the rest of our guys, we want them to go on and be successful in life.
Okay, we'll talk more to BJ as the night develops. Do you see him playing the gridiron game at the next level or the hardwood game?
Well, he's talented in both, but I do think the choice will be his. I think he'll have opportunity in both areas. It'll be up to him.
Okay.
But he does look like a football player.
That's a politically correct. But BJ, he has another year and change in football and 2 more seasons in basketball. We'll talk to him about that a little bit later. We were touching base about the playoffs, and the old way, Coach, it was easy to figure out. You knew if you were in the top 2 spots in each conference and each classification, you got a home game in the first round. But now it's hard to decipher. And if somebody put me on the spot right now and said, Bob, what's the playoff format in 6A on down to 1A? I know I would probably mess up along the way because it's not cut and dried. Like if you're in 2A, like Beaver Falls and Western Beaver, nobody gets a bye. Everybody has to play Friday night. But in certain cases, and we'll illustrate the local teams, Moon, what a season they've had. Speaking of 15108, it's been quite a year for that zip code. And Ryan Lynn has done a tremendous job. They get a bye. Central Valley, what else is new? They get a bye. And the third bye in between those two classes in 4A, Aliquippa playing with a 1A enrollment. And Mike Warfield has his team with a bye in the first round. But Coach, it's kind of hard to figure. And I know that 5 teams from each conference in 1A goes to the postseason, but I think everybody's puzzled. Like, who's going to get a home game? Yeah, it basically comes down to seedings, and it turns out you have to go to play Greensburg Central Catholic. The game will be at Hempfield. I take it the GCC has a grass field, yes. and somebody maybe at the school said, this isn't suitable, or did the WPIL step in?
I'm not sure whose decision that was, but I do know that GCC has a grass field, and it would be safer to play at Hempfield, which is very close by.
Okay, and that, I assume, is artificial
close
surface.
By to Greensburg, not us. Right?
Okay, yeah, and that's an artificial surface
yes.
field. Okay, have you had a chance to study GCC yet?
Very much so. We've got some tape on them. We've watched some games. The big question mark for them is they've had a number of transfers that are not eligible to play in the playoffs. So we really don't know who's going to be replacing them. The players that they do have that aren't playing are good players for them. They're major contributors on both sides of the ball. So they're not going to have their best team, but they have a lot of good pieces in place, and it'll be a good
What
game.
Are your seeds going in?
We are 9 and GCC's 8.
Okay, so it could have easily been the other way around, and you would have gotten a home game. The Big 7, though, it seems like the Clairton's conference, the Eastern Conference, got the most, probably got the most respect, and I can understand that. Clairton's led the way, and Leechburg's been a good team, and now Jeanette's a little down this year, but the Big 7 is always. You come out of the Big 7, you know it's a war almost every week.
Yeah, you're definitely battle tested to come out of the Big 7. Top to bottom are good teams with good coaches. Personally, I'll disagree with you. I think the Big 7 is better than the Eastern from top to bottom standpoint.
I agree with you, Coach. I think I'm just trying to speak for what the WPIL, how they're looking at it. I guess Clairton, and we'll find out how good they really are. I mean, I've heard word that this might not be one of Clairton's special teams. Not certainly the teams led by Lamont Wade were special when they had that long winning streak, but you have to respect Clairton, and I guess they would be the #1 seed.
Absolutely.
Even though the guys from Cornell, had they have won, they probably would not have gotten to 1 just because of Clairton's history. But if Cornell would have been undefeated in the conference, it would be hard not to put them at #1.
It'd be tough, but I would go with Clairton. Traditional program, always in the mix at the end. And really from beginning to end, outside of their non-conference losses, were both the AA teams, good AA teams, both 2 undefeated AA teams in Steel Valley and Wash High. I think that speaks volumes on them.
We're going to take our first time out. We're in the first segment of the Coach's Corner. When we come back, we'll talk more with Coach Dan Bradley of the Olds Chargers, and a little bit later we'll have a couple of outstanding athletes, one from Cornell, one from Our Lady of the Sacred Heart. And we want to thank Pizza Joe's. Guys, eat up the pizza. The more you get, the less I get, which is good. Pizza Joe's, 3rd Street in Beaver, always taking care of us at the Coach's Corner each and every Wednesday. We'll take this time out on WBVP, WNBA 99.3, and you can see us on Facebook Live.
Welcome to Beaver Valley Auto Mall. It's the best place to get a great deal on a really nice car. Our selection is amazing, especially right now. Search hundreds of vehicles at beavervalleycars.com. Find the one you like and schedule a test drive. Our expert staff and convenient location make the buying process easy to navigate. Every car is thoroughly inspected, and we'll keep it healthy with our first-class maintenance center. Buy here and service here. Become a Beaver believer at Beaver Valley Auto Mall.
When you're looking for the Valley's best eye care, look to Gazzetti Optometric Services, 212 State Avenue in Beaver. Dr. John Gazzetti has over 40 years of patient care experience, including exams, contact lens fittings, cataract, glaucoma and dry eye management, laser vision correction, and sports and sun eyewear. For your best vision, make the best decision. Call Gazzetti Optometric Services at 724-774-7559.
Community College of Beaver County is more than a place to build a career, it's a place to belong. With extra financial grants and less fees, programs that get you to graduation or on the job fast, flexible courses that come straight to you, and full support along the way, CCBC offers real learning for real life. Don't just attend college, experience it. Visit ccbc.edu to browse classes and get started, or call 724-480-3504 to connect with CCBC. You belong here. Did you know that the Grand Valley Inn was voted #1 best overall restaurant in the Best of the Valley Readers' Choice Awards 4 years in a row? Grand Valley Inn also has a fun family trivia night Thursday evenings at 6:30 p.m. The Grand Valley Inn is the place where you can also find the best live music under the heated tents. Call 724-843-9000 for more info, or to make your reservation for Elmo's Fire on November 6th for only a $10 coverage charge. Grand Valley Inn, good food, good friends, and good entertainment.
McGee Heating and Air Conditioning in Aliquippa has been in business for nearly 60 years. Now that's experience you can count on. When you call McGee Heating and Air Conditioning at 724-375-7112, they'll answer your call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Sue Curlin and her winning team service most brands, and McGee Heating and Air Conditioning is locally owned and operated. As always, they wish their best to our local teams. McGee Heating and Air Conditioning, Main Street, Aliquippa.
If you're looking to rid yourself of that unsightly, unwanted junk vehicle sitting on your property, call the experts at Plasmeyer Towing. They'll pay you in cash and will often pick up that vehicle the same day. Plasmeyer Towing, a full-service towing company in Elwood City, offers safe and reliable towing services for your vehicle in the local area, plus a selection of salvage vehicles for your car part needs. Plasmeyer Towing will pay you in cash for your junk, wreck, or unwanted vehicle no matter the condition. Call 724-561-3300. Good luck to the Riverside Panthers on a great season.
And we return here to the Coach's Corner on Beaver County Radio. Dan Bradley of the Our Lady of the Sacred Heart Chargers, our special guest. Dan, you have Greensburg Central Catholic. I don't know of how many of your players really can relate to them. They know that that's the next game, and if they want to move on to the playoffs, they have to survive on Friday night. But Clairton awaits the winner of this game. How do you guard against? I know that I'm sure your message is, hey, we got to beat the team right in front of us. But when you're talking to 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, and they know that Clairton is in the rear view mirror, how do you get them prepared to play the game that they have to beat in order to get a chance at the #1 seed?
It's we really don't. We can't talk about Clairton. We just focus on Greensburg Central, and we want to go 1-0. We know what we have to do to beat them. We got to limit their guys, similar to Cornell, but it's not going to be easy. But we just focus 1 week at a time and do our best to try to stay focused, stay disciplined, and do our jobs.
I'm sure most coaches feel that, hey, unless you get the #1 seed, you might feel like you're being shortchanged. Why did they get something and we didn't? Are you comfortable with the 9 seed, the way you finished the year, or not?
You know what? Yes and no. I think, not knowing how the seeds go, like you alluded to earlier, I think we're clearly better than some teams. I think our schedule, our conference play says a lot about us. I think there's some other schools below us can make that same argument, like California, 5-2 on the road. So I guess nobody's really satisfied unless you do have the one or things play out for you. But it's so much flexibility, ambiguity in the seeding, but some predictability still remains with who you play with down the line. Like you talk about Western Beaver playing Beaver Falls again. Us playing Clairton potentially again. So makes you scratch your head, but we're not in control of that, so we just have to go out and play.
Well, let's talk about your son. Your son Tyler was an outstanding quarterback for you a few years ago. First of all, that had to be special. Just to coach a team, and you coached some really strong teams that went far in the playoffs, but to coach your son, that's just something that you could always look back on, and to have that opportunity had to mean a lot to you and for Tyler.
Yeah, it was a special moment, absolutely. For me, I would have had the opportunity to coach him at basketball at Avonworth, where we lived, or when he came over at Ulsh. But truly a special experience, not only just in coaching him, but enjoying the success that we had. Winning the Whitfield Championship and moving on, losing to Farrell, great team in the semis. But just that 3 years of being together was very special.
Well, you've told me that Tyler's a redshirt freshman at Seton Hill,
yes,
a Division II school, and the program was, like so many others, were hit directly from the COVID situation. Now, I guess the good news is that Tyler will get an extra year. Theoretically, will be the quarterback next year. But you were saying the starting quarterback is like in a sixth year on campus. He's 24 years old, and you talk about experience. That guy has it, but I'm sure Tyler's patient and waiting for his opportunity.
Yeah, it's a unique situation with COVID, and unfortunately, for the guys in school, they benefit for having another year. Where it does hurt, were last year's graduating seniors and the guys coming up, because the colleges are backloaded with their rosters. You know what I mean? And so the opportunity for the graduates last year and this year are kind of limited, because those guys have that red shirt. They have the COVID blanket year, and they're going to be sticking around school, and hopefully another year or two will iron itself out.
Dan, up until a couple years ago, you were a head coach in both football and basketball. You were the longtime basketball coach at Avonworth, decided to step aside, and now you're just concentrating on football. Does that give you more time, so to speak, to prepare accordingly for football, knowing that you don't have basketball to pick up after the season's over? Maybe you could explain.
No, you just keep going. You just keep going, and you catch up when you can. I was one of the few guys who did, head coach for both, but there's a lot of people that do double duty, whether they're a head coach and assistant, or assistant and head coach, or just assistant. So, you just got to be able to just roll with the punches and get it done.
Now, your daughter, you say she plays at Allegheny College?
Yes.
Okay, so you want to follow her career.
Right.
So that's taken your interest away from being a high school basketball coach again for now. Let's talk about her career.
Okay.
And her name, please.
Okay, her name is Grace Bradley.
Okay.
She played at Ulsh. She was a starter as a sophomore on their Whitfield Championship team, and played through. She's so injury prone, it's ridiculous, but she's had a lot of injuries, whiplash, concussions, ankle, something with her knee that they still can't figure out. But she loves the game, and she's playing at Allegheny. We saw her scrimmage a week or so ago up at Teal, and they open up next Monday.
Okay, boy, basketball, it's
Right around the corner.
It's right around the corner. But after her career is over, and probably around that time, Tyler's football career will be over. So you'll have all this time on your hand.
What am I going to do?
You'll want to get back in the ring again for hoops, right?
Maybe. We'll see what happens. If I don't pick up another hobby between now and then, but we'll see what happens. A lot of time.
Dan Bradley of Olsh, our special guest. We're going to take this time out. We're going to bring a couple special players on with us from Cornell and from Olsh. After this break, we want to thank Pizza Joe's again in Beaver. Give them a call, 724-775-5655. Curtis Walsh, Malik Garrett in their usual spots, producing tonight's edition of the Coach's Corner on radio, on Beaver County Radio, and on Facebook Live. We'll take this time out. We'll be back to talk to some of our star players after this on Beaver County Radio.
Are you in high school and thinking about your future, or know someone who is? Consider Geneva College. Geneva is a Christian college that prepares students for meaningful service and their life's work. Geneva has over 145 majors and programs, 18 varsity sports, 100 study abroad programs, and lots of club activities. And Beaver County scholarships help to make a Geneva education affordable. Learn more by visiting geneva.edu. That's geneva.edu.
Ambridge Italian Villa, a family tradition with the taste sensation.
The three most important things to consider if you are planning a holiday get-together this year are food, food, and food. Great food makes the gathering memorable, and whether you are hosting the family dinner or have a giant corporate function to prepare for, get it vilified with catering from Ambridge Italian Villa. Spend your time under the mistletoe or in front of the fireplace with loved ones this year instead of in the kitchen. Vilifying your dinner party of any size with catering or pick up food from Ambridge Italian Villa is safer and better than going out to eat, and way more fun. Vilify your company party, group dinner, church celebration, or any event with catering from the Villa. Ambridge Italian Villa. Click AmbridgeItalianVilla.com or visit Ambridge Italian Villa on Duss Avenue in Ambridge.
Ambridge Italian Villa, a family tradition with the taste sensation.
Did you know that Eloquipa won its first state championship over 70 years ago? Hi, this is E-Man from Hoffman's Drugstore. It was 1949, and the Quips defeated York for the state Class A basketball championship at the Philadelphia Convention Center. At that point in time, Hoffman's Drugstore was already a fixture in town, having opened nearly 3 decades earlier. Our tenacity and drive has enabled us to win over customers for 100 years now. Visit Hoffman's Drugstore on Franklin Avenue, 724-375-4111.
Did you know that the Grand Valley Inn was voted #1 best overall restaurant in the Best of the Valley Reader's Choice Awards 4 years in a row? Grand Valley Inn also has a fun family trivia night Thursday evenings at 6:30 p.m. The Grand Valley Inn is the place where you can also find the best live music under the heated tents. Call 724-843-9000 for more info, or to make your reservation for Elmo's Fire on November 6th for only a $10 coverage charge. Grand Valley Inn. Good food, good friends, and good entertainment.
And we're back, and on my immediate left and right, we have two outstanding athletes. One guy plays both football and basketball. The other one concentrates on football, a little bit of track, I guess, also. When I saw him against Rochester, that's a suitable profession for this young man, Tim Henderson. He is a stud, and he can run. And we're going to be talking to him first. He was our Community College of Beaver County Player of the Game against Rochester. And Tim, congratulations. Tremendous performance against Rochester. You returned, what, a kickoff for a How much did that game history of football. Tell us about the game and how that game developed and what it was like to go to a place like Rochester where they win so often and you guys came out on top.
We came in here like we wanted to start fast. That's all we cared about, was starting fast. And when we got that chance, opening kickoff, I thought they was gonna kick a squib kick. So when it bounced up in the face, I'm like, oh, it really came to me. So I took advantage of that and I got home for the team. And all we did was believe in our defense, and we did that too. And like, the stands was wild. Like, it was so loud we couldn't concentrate. I'm like, people really be playing here, and it'd be difficult. And I'm like, yeah, Rochester's a good team and everything, and they fans for them, and it's just wild to play there. It's just wild.
Well, you came out on top, and that pretty much gave you the conference championship. I know you had the forfeit victory the following week that clinched it for you, but and that was your, I believe, and Tim, you can correct me if I'm wrong, the first conference championship in football in Cornell history, and that we're talking about like 50 years. Is that true?
I think it's true because 2 years ago when it was Zai at quarterback, they tapped with the Rocks for conference, and we had it by ourselves this year. That's why it's our first time.
Okay, well, you won it outright. That's something you could tell your grandchildren someday, that we were the first team that ever win a championship at Cornell. Who did you bring here with you tonight to the coach's show?
My mom and my stepdad, Dad, for real.
Okay, are they your biggest fans?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you returned that kick for a touchdown, would I have heard that? And I was broadcasting the game. Would I have heard them? It sounded like there was a big roar from the Cornell side.
It was.
Well, Tim, you didn't get the perfect conference season. Maybe this guy had a lot to do with it, Coach Bradley. But in a sense, okay, I know obviously you want to win. It's a rival game for you. But do you think maybe this might settle you down a little bit, maybe? Because I know it'd be easy the way that this season just has developed and you're winning the conference championship. And do you think maybe in a way it might be, maybe it sets an alarm saying, hey, you know what, we're not maybe not as good as we think we are, and now we have to go out and play football, and you have Monessen this week.
When we lost to them, I feel bad for us because we took a week off. We thought everything was sweet, and we came back from a week of rest, and they hit us hard. They woke us up. I'm like, oh, we got to play this game and not lose. So we want to go perfect. And we tried to finish out the game and everything, but they just kept their hits, and they took the win from us. And I think is that the game we didn't get to play Fort Cherry, our coach made us play because we have another week of film because of Fort Cherry. So we played in this game. We tried to execute, but they came out harder.
Your win over Rochester, did you feel you had a point to prove? I think a lot of people, they knew you had a good team. Your record spoke for itself. But you were beating decent teams in the Big Seven, but you hadn't played Olsh yet, and you hadn't played Rochester yet, and those are the two teams that people are most aware of. Did you feel that, hey, we go in and beat Rochester, people are going to notice the Cornell Raiders? Was that your mindset?
Yes, that was our mindset. Once we show who we are and we beat Rochester, I'm like, yeah, no one in the conference can mess with us. So we took that, but we didn't beat them by that much. We was beating ourselves during the whole game, and we could have did so much better and have other teams think better about us because they say we played horrible teams, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna play some calm and we're gonna show ourselves.
Well, you certainly did. You beat them by a touchdown. The guy to my left, B.J. Vaughn. Now, B.J., tell us about the big victory. Now, you probably would have gotten in the playoffs anyway because Northgate lost. I think that's the team that had to lose to help you. But you don't know that going in. Yeah. Tell us about last week's game. What was your mindset going into the game? Did you feel you had a point to prove? Because you guys were sputtering there for a while.
Yeah, I feel like we had a lot to prove going in. We had... We lost to Northgate, a winnable game. We lost to Shenango, a winnable game. And Rochester, also a winnable game. And I feel like we just took it off. We didn't play as hard as we played against Apollo Ridge, Riverside, leading up to Rochester. We let that one go. Then we bounce back, then we lose 2 back-to-back games to teams that I think we could have beat. And then we go into Cornell, and we're just thinking, like, we can't lose another game. Because I think we were on a 2-game losing streak.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And I just felt like we couldn't lose. We actually have a group chat, and all week we were just talking about how we can't lose. Like, you got to play your hardest, and maybe this could be the last game for the seniors. And we just thought about we can't let them go out, especially the underclassmen. We were just thinking, like, you can't let them go out on a bad note, losing to Cornell in the last game of the season. So we played hard. Coach Brad had a great game plan on how to stop their big playmakers, and we executed the game plan pretty well, and we came out with a win.
Well, BJ, your older brother, Jalen, was a star basketball player at Beaver Falls High School. Your dad, Brad, used to be the Beaver Falls girls basketball coach. Yeah. In fact, tonight, he dropped you off here at the studio, and he went up to Geneva College because Jalen, your brother, is playing for CCBC, and they're playing the Geneva varsity, so we got to find out the result of that game. Why are you at Olds? I'm sure a lot of people here in downtown Tiger Town are saying, boy, if we only had B.J. Vaughn, we'd be a lot better. Why Olds? Why Our Lady of the Sacred Heart?
I felt like Olds was just a good decision to just get a restart from what I've been used to. I felt like at Beaver Falls, I wasn't as focused, and I was more involved with my friends, but I feel like Olsh, I got a new start to do something new and experience other stuff. Olsh has great teachers, and they helped me along the way. And I met new friends on the basketball team and the football team, and I feel like Olsh is like a good experience. I mean, I miss Beaver Falls, but I think Olsh is the best place for me right now.
And you still live here in Beaver Falls,
yes.
Correct? Okay. So last season, you get a lot of playing time. You're, 6th or 7th man off the bench. Our Lady of the Sacred Heart did something that very few teams, I think about 13 in the history of the WPIL, to win a state championship undefeated. And you were a big part of that team. How was it like being in Hershey, and when the seconds were counting down to victory in an undefeated season? Tell us, if you can, put that into words.
Yeah. Well, we had 2 seniors, Mark Polar and Dante Spatafora, which is playing at West Liberty now. We were just thinking, like, also with the same thing with football, we were just thinking, like, we had to send seniors out on a win. We made it this far undefeated, and we just kept playing and just played as hard as we could. Constitution, which is a good team, they gave us all we could handle, and we fought back through adversity, and we came out with the win.
Well, Coach Mike Rodriguez, he's certainly one of the best, and we want to again pass along our congratulations to Coach Rodriguez and to you and your whole team, and what a feat that was. Jake DeMichael, he averaged about 30 a game.
Yeah.
He Coach Bradley couldn't get him out for football, I guess. Would he have been a good football player?
Yeah, he's tall, he's pretty. A lot of people don't know he's pretty athletic, so he would have been good. I tried to get him too.
Okay. Well, guys, Tim, hey, good luck in the playoffs. What's your mindset for, you have Monessen. Do you know anything about the Greyhounds?
Yes, they're a small team. Like, when we were watching film, they only have like 3 people on the sideline, but we still have to stay humble for them. So we don't come out bad or anything, but we do want to hit them hard.
Now, your field, Frank Lettieri, is it Frank Lettieri Stadium? Was it deemed like not playable, and maybe you could speak, or did you're playing at West Allegheny, an artificial field? What's your thoughts on that?
I'm happy the game got moved to turf. I'm a lot faster on there, but our field is not playable. It gets too muddy. It's been rainy, cold, and that game would have been bad, real bad.
So it was a decision from Cornell High School to move the game. You took you were proactive as a school to move that game.
Yes, I think our director made the change because the field was too muddy and everything. I think that was the change.
Okay, BJ, I know you're excited for basketball, but I think you want to play a few more football games before your basketball season kicks in. Tell us about your opponent, and you're going to be playing also at an artificial surface at Hempfield. Does this Cornell victory beating Cornell last week. Has that really pumped you guys up and right at the right time?
Yes, I think this week we had some of the best practices that we've had all season. We're having fun. We're more together as a team. You can just see that we're playing to win and we want to win it all. And we're going to play them as if they are Cornell, play them as a tough opponent, because at any time anybody can be beat, and we don't want to be beat because we're not trying hard or we're not giving our maximum effort. And I feel like if we do give our maximum effort, we can win and we can continue on through the playoffs.
Guys, best of luck to you. We have another player on the phone, I believe. Do we have him now, Curtis, or after a break? Okay, we'll take a short break. BJ Vaughn, best of luck on the Gridiron Friday night. Tim Henderson, congratulations. First ever conference title, and you were a big part of it, buddy. Good luck to the Chargers and the Raiders on Friday night. Maybe these guys can lock heads again if things fall their way. All right, guys, congratulations. We're going to take our final timeout. When we come back, we're going to have a little phone interview, I believe, with Brock Janita from another playoff team, Montour, another Western Allegheny County team. So it must be Western Allegheny night here at the Coach's Corner, and then we'll wrap it up with Coach Dan Bradley after this final timeout here on Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live.
They say imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. If that's true, then people must really be impressed with me. This is the Aquaman of Beaver County, Jim Riggio from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. You see, at this time of year, lots of people try to look just like me and put on their superhero outfits as costumes. The only difference is at the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, we act like superheroes all year round with service that would make any Cape Crusader proud. This is the Aquaman from Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, Jim Riggio, wishing you a festive and safe Halloween. Click bfwater.net.
When you want your car to function, call Junction. That's what more and more people in Beaver County are doing every day. Junction Auto Service is a full-service repair business, and there's no better time to have your car checked than now before the really cold weather arrives. Heating and cooling systems, batteries, fluids, tires, and everything it takes to keep your vehicle running. Steve and his winning team will take care of it. Call for an appointment today or visit them at 425 Constitution Boulevard in Falston.
Community College of Beaver County is more than a place to build a career, it's a place to belong. With extra financial grants and less fees, programs that get you to graduation or on the job fast, flexible courses that come straight to you, and full support along the way, CCBC offers real learning for real life. Don't just attend college, experience it. Visit ccbc.edu to browse classes and get started, or call 724-480-3504 to connect with CCBC. You belong here.
Welcome to Beaver Valley Auto Mall. It's the best place to get a great deal on a really nice car. Our selection is amazing, especially right now. Search hundreds of vehicles at beavervalleycars.com. Find the one you like and schedule a test drive. Our expert staff and convenient location make the buying process easy to navigate. Every car is thoroughly inspected, and we'll keep it healthy with our first-class maintenance center. Buy here and service here. Become a Baba Beaver believer at Beaver Valley Auto Mall.
Ambridge Italian Villa, a family tradition with the taste sensation.
The three most important things to consider if you are planning a holiday get-together this year are food, food, and food. Great food makes the gathering memorable, and whether you are hosting the family dinner or have a giant corporate function to prepare for, get it vilified with catering from Ambridge Italian Villa. Spend your time under the mistletoe or in front of the fireplace with loved ones this year instead of in the kitchen. Vilifying your dinner party of any size with catering or pick up food from Ambridge Italian Villa is safer and better than going out to eat, and way more fun. Vilify your company party, group dinner, church celebration, or any event with catering from the Villa. Ambridge Italian Villa. Click AmbridgeItalianVilla.com or visit Ambridge Italian Villa on Duss Avenue in Ambridge.
Ambridge Italian Villa, a family tradition with the taste sensation.
Are you in high school and thinking about your future, or know someone who is? consider Geneva College. Geneva is a Christian college that prepares students for meaningful service and their life's work. Geneva has over 145 majors and programs, 18 varsity sports, 100 study abroad programs, and lots of club activities. And Beaver County scholarships help to make a Geneva education affordable. Learn more by visiting geneva.edu. That's geneva.edu.
And we return one more segment. In a moment or so, we're going to be rejoined by head coach Dan Bradley of the Our Lady of the Sacred Heart Chargers. But on the phone is Brock Janita, a fine player for the Montour Spartans. And Brock, you won the CCBC Player of the Game Award in your game against Aliquippa. Congratulations. But more so, congratulations last week. It was a do-or-die game for you, and you came out on top against Chartiers Valley. Let's talk about that game and how you played in that one that got you into the playoffs.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that one was, like you said, do or die. And our team came out on top. And we went into Chartiers Valley, a very tough team, very well coached, did what we needed to do, came out with a win.
Well, you know, the week before, you pretty much could have sewn up a playoff spot, but you lost a tough one in overtime to Beaver. How did that game go?
Oh, I mean, Beaver also another playoff team. That one was just a classic Friday night football game. Battling both sides of the ball, 4 quarters, and then plus overtime. They ended up getting the best of us. We made a few mistakes that cost us. But at the end of the day, everything worked out. That was a very tough game against a very tough team, but we're both in now, and we got to make something happen in the playoffs.
Okay, you play at Armstrong on Friday night. Now, be honest, Brock. Did you know Armstrong had a high score, or did you know where it was located before they appeared on your schedule this week?
Well, the only time I've ever really noticed Armstrong was looking at the paper on a Saturday morning for the brackets in our conference. To be honest with you, but hey, we play was on our schedule. Armstrong's almost like a very good team, a very good quarterback, Caden Olsen. So we got to prepare for anything they can throw at us.
Well, do you think this win over Chartiers Valley might give you renewed life now? I mean, you had a couple tough losses. Aliquippa's a juggernaut, but you had Beaver on the ropes. You beat Chartiers Valley. You had a close loss against Newcastle. So for the most part, you have to be pretty confident coming out of the Parkway, knowing that you can compete. And Friday night, I think you have to at least believe that you got a good chance to come out on top.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, our team is battle tested all year. A couple plays here or there haven't went our way, but you know it's football. Football gods blessed us with a lucky it's not a lucky outcome, but with a good outcome against Chartiers Valley. We faced adversity a lot this year. We've risen to the occasion whenever it mattered most. We beat Chartiers Valley, punched our ticket in. Now we have to make something happen in the playoffs, which I've had nothing but confidence in our guys all year long, and that doesn't change in playoffs. I wouldn't want to go to war with any other guys besides the 50 guys on that roster.
Well, Brock, make sure you tell Coach Ciro that Bob said hello. One of my favorite guys, Coach Lou Ciro. Good luck to you. Congratulations on being the CCBC Player of the Game. Go Spartans in the playoffs on Friday night. Bring home a victory.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for having me on.
All right, Brock Janita of the Montour Spartans. And that brings us to head coach Dan Bradley. Dan, you were commenting during the commercial break. You know what? We could have just gone and had pizza at Pizza Joe's, and we could have let B.J. Vaughn and Tim Henderson take over the show. And Brock just did a fine job as well. These guys, I might just, maybe we could have a guest host. The players run the show, and we could come on in midway through and be
Not
guests.
a bad idea.
Yeah.
Full bellies and let them go.
Yeah, right. Coach, I guess winning never gets old. I mean, you've had a lot of wins at Avonworth in basketball. You were really starting to do some good things at Ambridge, and now look at what you've done at Olds. You've been on a lot of fields and inside a lot of gymnasiums. But I guess winning, just like you did last Friday night, it can't get old.
No, it just, a lot of us are still very competitive people as coaches. Even though we can't play anymore, we still love the game. We love the sport. We love to compete. And when you win a game like that, you definitely go home euphoric, on an athletic high, and you stay up too late, and you crash, and you wake up and do it all over again. But never gets old. Never gets old.
And you know what? And then when you're not coaching, you're following your son and your daughter at Seton Hill and Allegheny, respectively. So there's really no break for Dan Bradley.
No, just keep going. Kidnap every 2 weeks and do it all over again.
Coach, what are your keys to victory on Friday night against this Greensboro Central Catholic club?
Very, very similar to Cornell. First of all, we've got to do our job. Eliminate the big plays. They have some big play people. Quarterback's really good and accurate. And, don't beat ourselves with penalties. We do those three things, we should come out on top.
Coach, we want to thank you so much for always joining us. I always know when I make that phone call to you, you seem like you enjoy coming to the show, and I'll tell you, I will make sure I tell Tom Hayes that you said hello, Bruce Fry, Jason Colangelo. They always enjoyed, Tom and Bruce especially, because they covered a lot of your games, really enjoyed the moments that they've had with you, and I'm sure that they're thinking and wishing you the best in the playoffs.
Thanks, I do appreciate that. I do love coming down here and bringing guys and sharing the experience with them.
Well,
and I know BJ will enjoy himself tonight.
He's a classy young man, and he's going to help you on Friday night. Coach, congratulations. Again, our schedule for this week. 2 6:30 pre-games on Friday night. The playoffs begin in 2A. Western Beaver at Beaver Falls on WBVP and 99.3 FM. Ambridge takes the trek to Freeport. Good luck to Sherman McBride getting the Bridgers to the playoffs for the first time since this guy took them there in 2015. And good luck. We'll have Geneva on Saturday, 12:30 airtime on College Hill against Hill. We want to thank again Pizza Joe's for their hospitality and their great food, and we enjoy it each and every Wednesday. For Curtis Walsh, Malik Garrett, Coach Dan Bradley, and our players, B.J. Vaughn, Tim Henderson, Brock Janita. It was a Western Allegheny County Coach's Corner night. We want to wish them the very best in the upcoming playoffs. 12 teams in all in Beaver County, so in Western Allegheny County, and I think we have reason to be hopeful for teams to go that far. For all of us, by Barry. But good night, everybody, on Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live.
They say imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. If that's true, then people must really be impressed with me. This is the Aquaman of Beaver County, Jim Riggio from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. You see, at this time of year, lots of people try to look just like me and put on their superhero outfits as costumes. The only difference is, at the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, we act like superheroes all year round with service that would make any Cape Crusader proud. This is the Aquaman from Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, Jim Riggio, wishing you a festive and safe Halloween. Click bfwater.net.